Guys, welcome back to the biggest agricultural platform in Namibia known as Nduna Wengombe, which means headman of cattle. My name, of course, Mitchell Mutumba Simata. Today, this is on a serious note. I'm just going to give my opinions. I was talking to a lady on Twitter. Let me just go to that story. Her name is Farmer Naira on Twitter. Check her out. She's a lady in agriculture. I think she's from South Africa. Yeah, she's from South Africa. She wrote, "Do not allow social media to hype you up into thinking that farming is an easy money-making career with quick or instant returns. We work very hard this side for everything we have." And then I replied, I said, "I keep telling many about this." She replied and said, "The people must know this." I know when we talk of agriculture, we are always fascinated when we read stories like President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa buys a buffalo bull for 1 million South African rand. Or President Cyril Ramaphosa sells an Ankole bull for 3 million South African rand. And then we all run into it thinking, all I need to do is I buy one Ankole bull, I buy an Ankole bull, a couple of Ankole cows, we breed, and then we start selling them to people for millions of South African rands or Namibian dollars. But I took President Cyril Ramaphosa as a case study. And I said, President Ramaphosa, where did this man make his money? And the history is there. The history is online for many people to pick up a magazine, a book, a cell phone, their tablets or iPads and just do research, or even their laptops. It says that he's a well-known businessman, including an owner of McDonald's, South Africa. So I think if one wants to open up a McDonald's in Namibia, I'll probably have to apply for a license through his companies. Chairperson of the board of MTN, member of the board of Lonman, and founder of Seduka Groups. So President Ramaphosa, besides just doing agriculture, has business interest in other sectors. It took me back to the conversation I had with my mentor, Mr. Andres de Jager, a couple of years back. I think this was around 2017. I will put this link to that video in the description of this one, whereby he spoke about the switch of full-time farming. Can people become millionaires in just becoming full-time farmers? He said you can become a millionaire if you have made a lot of money in a different sector, or you probably work for a big company, you are the CEO, you are the group CEO of a company, you're probably the head CEO of a company like FNB, and you've made money from that. And for the tenure that you're working for FNB, you're taking whatever you're getting from that and you're investing it into your farming. So by the time you retire and go into full-time farming, you have already paid off everything. You don't owe a bank, you don't owe nobody nothing on your tractors, your farm, everything that you've put on your farm. Which he told me that's the only way to go. He said that unless you are making lots of money from what you're producing, unless what you're producing is like a bespoke breed of cattle, bespoke breed of chicken, bespoke breed of vegetable that is not locally found in Namibia, that you can become extremely rich from farming. But it's very difficult to farm for money. This is why I looked at a person like President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is somebody I do look up to. He's somebody that I really, I need to buy his book so I can actually read it a bit. He's somebody that I do look up to and I do admire as a business person, what he has done and what he has achieved. It's where I sit down and say that the president of South Africa, besides being the president, is a businessman. He's made money in business because he's been practicing business for a very long time. They're saying 1996 he stepped down from politics. So he's been making money for such a long time that from his various business ventures that he was busy, that he is making money from, currently is making money from, he's able to take that money and he's able to invest it into his agricultural business. It's a discussion that I did have when I was invited to young farmers, Namibian youth involved in agriculture conference that I was invited to. I think it was 2021, 2019 there, where I went to go speak, where I told them, listen, the reality is quite simple. Many young people can get involved in farming, but we need to stop viewing farming as something very simple, that I just buy a seed, I plant in the ground, voila, a tree grows. There's a process and there are procedures that go through that. It's going to take a person very long to get where they are. Even today, let's say I was one of those young people that inspire many young people to get into farming, and I'm driving a Land Cruiser Buckley. Chances are that Land Cruiser Buckley and that John Deere tractor that I'm driving I don't own. I own them on paper, but they belong to the bank. If I miss a payment, if my rice plantation doesn't really succeed, I miss a payment, I need to give back the tractor. I need to give back this. I need to get rid of this. My farm can be taken back and be repossessed by the bank. This is why I keep on telling people that look, agriculture is simple on paper. The magazines make it look simple. They give it the fairy tale story. They give it the feel good stories. But it's a very difficult business because it's a labor, and it's a capital intensive business. It requires lots of money. You need to invest lots of money. This is why you are seeing that many farmers today, many people that own farms, people that have bought farms, are usually politicians who are making good money because he's probably getting paid 1.5 million. From that 1.5 million, he's probably using 80,000 just for his farming projects, and he's able to fix up his farm and build it to a point where it's luxurious and it's well and whatever. You look at a leader like President Ramaphosa. I think he's one of the best paid presidents on the continent, if not in the entire in SADC, if not the entire Africa. He's one of the best paid leaders. Besides the salary that he makes from his job, which is being the president of the country, he's making more money or making bigger money from his business interests. He might not be physically involved anymore in the business, but he's still making his returns, being the CEO or being the head of the group. He's making crazy money from it. And from all this money that he's making from his company, he's able to pump back into his agricultural business. This is what gives him the freedom to go buy a bull for 1 million. This is what gives him the freedom to invest in Ankole cattle and sell them for such a crazy price. The magazines, just make it look so simple. And most of us believe that simple story, the simple ABCD story. We don't want to listen to the technical stories and the technical things that are needed. Yes, I believe that you can become a billionaire in farming. I do believe that. But the only way one can become a billionaire in farming is by doing the first thing, is your farm. Did you buy this farm cash? If you bought it cash, you don't owe a bank, you don't owe any bank or anybody anything on this farm. It's your farm legally in your name. You've paid it off. Then you can become a billionaire. And then besides just having your grapes on your farm, you probably say, let me have a packaging house. You build a packaging house. You build a storage. You build a wash house. You are able to plant your grapes, harvest your grapes, wash them, put them in packages, probably put them in a storage and keep them longer. When grapes are now becoming few in the market and the shops still need more grapes, you are able to supply them. You are able to take your grapes and just rather than selling them as a fresh fruit, you're able to transform them into different products. Juice, wine, everything we utilize grapes for, you're able to do that. You can become rich when you do that. By adding other value added services to your agricultural projects, you are able to make more money from your agriculture. But like I said, it starts off with the first thing. It makes sure that you don't owe your bank, you don't owe anybody, you don't owe a lender anything on your farm. Your tractor that you bought it cash. You paid it up front, you don't owe nobody nothing on it. But when you are farming and you survive just off farming, and the tractor, your implements, your equipment, everything you utilize on your farm, you have taken a loan for that. You need to be able to pay that loan back. And let's say that loan, they charge you at 10%. You need to be able to work out the percentages to figure out how much money are you going to be paying the bank over the next 4 to 5 years. Because let's say 2023, you get hit with a terrible year. 2024, another terrible year. 2023, 2025, another terrible year. Those 3 years, you're not making any money. The bank they come knocking on your door. They want back, they want you to pay. And if you're not able to pay, give me back my stuff that you bought. Because legally I still own them. You need to pay me for you to be able to own it. This is why you see that many successful black farmers, besides just being involved in agriculture, are involved in other sectors. I know my good friend here, Mr. Iskavari. I found out recently that just beside being involved in farming, he's also involved in housing. He has a company that's busy doing housing projects that build houses for people. He's gotten involved in that because he's understanding that I can't just rely on farming alone. If my farming fails, if I have a drought or something happens, God forbid something happens, how am I still going to be able to sustain and be able to run my farm and be able to manage it and make money from it? So that's why I looked at a guy like Mr. Ramaphosa, why he's able to buy expensive bulls, why he's able to buy expensive buffaloes, expensive cows, he breeds Boran, Akole, and Bosmara. Why he's able to invest heavily into his farming and make big returns from it is because he has other business interests that are busy making money for him on the side, that are able to bring back that money into the farm, that gives him that freedom to be able to go and say, you know what, I'm buying myself a $3 million Bosmara bull. You would even see these guys who buy expensive livestock. I met a couple of them here in Namibia also. Some of them don't just, they're in agriculture. Agriculture is one of their business interests. But they're not just wholly just involved in agriculture. And if it's agriculture, he has interest in livestock, he has interest in poultry, he has interest in horticulture. He is involved in different facets of farming. He's not just involved in one thing, which is probably I just farm goats. He's involved in different things. And for me, if we as the next generation can learn this, can actually sit down and say, how are these guys becoming rich? How are these guys becoming billionaires? How are these guys becoming millionaires from their farming? And look at what they're doing and copy what they're doing. And you actually start seeing that, man, besides just being a farmer, this guy is a dentist. He runs his own dental practice. Already from his own dental practice, he's probably making lots of money from that. On top of that, he's taking money from his dental practice and he's investing it into his farming. What he makes from his farm, he's taking money from that and he's investing into his dental practice. So he's running two businesses that are having a symbiotic relationship, meaning they're mutual beneficial to each other, rather than just saying, I'm a farmer. Even those that are just into farming, those guys that are just focused on, let's say, cattle farming, those guys make money, yes, but you'd find out that these individuals are able to make money from their farming, just involved in their cattle farming, because they don't need to pay anybody for their farms. This is probably a generational farm that he has inherited from his mom, dad, or brother or sister. He inherited it. The farm has probably been already paid off. They know bank loans. They don't owe nobody nothing. Because this has happened, this individual can just focus 110% on farming. He doesn't need to worry about the bank. The only bank charges he has to worry about are probably the extra loans he will take. But everything on the farm that his parents bought at a point of time, they have already put up all the infrastructures that he needs. The tractors are already there. Everything is there. The water infrastructure, the storage, everything is on the farm. This person just moves in and farms. He doesn't owe anybody anything. So he's able to make money from his farming. But it still requires hard work. And not just that, he has already skilled workers. So, hey man, being a billionaire in agriculture, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But like I said, it starts off with owing people zero, not owing nobody nothing. And everything you have done, you owe it. It's legally yours. Then you can become a billionaire. Or you can become a billionaire if you probably have other interests. Let's say myself. I love agriculture. I'm not farming, but I'm trying to be an agricultural entrepreneur. I'm trying to educate people in the field of agriculture through this YouTube channel, and also start hosting farmers' days and so forth, and giving advisory services. Me doing that means that I'm going to be able to make money from this other side hustle, as you call it, the side hustle of mine, by educating and informing people that in the near future, I can go into agriculture, whether livestock, horticulture, whatever, and I can just invest and I can buy a farm, cash, and not needing to go take a loan. I can afford to pay for it one time, finish it off, and I can invest heavily into that agricultural business because I've built the capital from my other added businesses, such as my advisory services and so many other things that I'm probably doing on the side, that I'm able to take money from that and I'm able to pour that into my agricultural businesses and keep on pouring money into it till it grows to a point where it starts becoming self-sufficient, that it can be able to pour money back into my other businesses that I can invest in. That's why when my brother asked me a while back, bro, do you just want to be a farmer? I said, no, man, I don't just want to be a farmer. Farming interests me. It's an interesting topic. Agriculture is an interesting topic. But I want to be able to play in other sectors. I want to get into the feed making business. I want to get into the animal breeding business. I want to get into things like regenerative farming in a sustainable way that I do not pollute the environment. I want to get into all those other facets. I want to get into things like fish farming, for example. Yeah, I find that interesting. I want to get into aquaponics, which my good friend Gugu is involved in. I want to get into different facets of agriculture that, beside my Simbra stud that I'm running, I'm making money outside my Simbra stud. I'm making money from other agricultural businesses that I started also. That's my idea. Because by doing that, I can go and become a billionaire. But then when I do become a billionaire, I need to be honest and say, listen, I didn't just become a billionaire from farming alone. I got involved in other businesses. I opened up a coffee shop. I opened up a feed making business. I opened up a fish farm. I opened up all these things. They're in the agricultural sector, yes, but I opened up other facets in order for me to become rich. Because I look at a guy like I said, I look at a senior person in the agricultural sector like Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa. He's made money in other sectors. He's made money from that. Now he's reinvesting that money back into his agricultural business. And this is why he's able to buy a game farm, buy a cattle farm, invest and buy expensive animals, sell expensive animals to people because he's invested. He's taking his money that he's made in other businesses and he's pumping that back into his agricultural business. That is my 2 cents on it, man. Can you become a billionaire in farming? I believe you can. I believe you can. But it comes into being able to dedicate yourself and being able to see opportunity and get into opportunity. But it also comes into making sure that you own everything that you have. So let's not believe the hype that we read in magazines, that we see in television, that we see in stories, and that we hear farmers conferences being hosted, and those people probably they're telling, yes, the next billionaire will be a farmer. Sometimes you must remember, some of those people that say this are probably working for an agricultural company. Maybe they're working for Mercy Ferguson Tractors. They need 100 farmers or they need 2 million farmers actively involved in Namibia and to buy their products. They will say that because we need you to buy our products. So sometimes do take it with a pinch of salt and do further research to understand that how is a leader like President Cyril Ramaphosa making so much money from his agricultural business? What is he doing that I'm probably not doing? That's one way you can look at it. And by doing that, you can end up becoming a billionaire, millionaire, or making a good living from farming. Because like my senior, and I will put the link of that video into the description of this one, so you guys can go watch that one and just learn a thing or two, hear what he had to say. I think him and I will probably need to have a part 2 where I do go to his farm and we go sit down and talk a bit more about farming full time and what it requires and the sacrifices one needs to do. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for watching and Merry Christmas. I know Christmas was yesterday. Today's Family Day. So I'll still say Merry Christmas and have yourself a prosperous 2023 and a blessed 2023. And maybe and may 2023 be a year of success, of lots of wins. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, bye for now.